as Jasmine would gracefully walk up behind, seemingly slightly more imperious than before, with her crown, seemingly thinking that she might be the superior here.
Yeah, Geráck stomps in with an unsure look on his face.
Like, maybe fucking... Why did she tell me that? And she thinks it's great. Like, it's funny.
Yeah. Now Geráck is just deep in his own thoughts, just perplexed.
I'm so glad for that idea, Sheep. Thank you. You contributed to this campaign.
Yeah, just mumbling to himself a bit.
Aurelia will follow, probably side by side with Geráck, see Teraptus doing whatever Teraptus is doing, like kneeling next to his like summoning circle or whatever.
Aurelia will notice that Teraptus looks nervous. He casts his eyes back at the group. It's a glimmer of nervousness as he looks at her, but then he quickly goes back to finishing the circle.
So, Superior Teraptus, are there any side effects we should be aware of? Or I should rephrase that, any side effects that you do not want us to be aware of?
Teraptus snorts as he stands up. How's Tempus coming into the room, by the way? Gryph.
Probably still dripping a bit of water as he walks into the room.
Okay.
It's happened like 20 minutes ago.
How has he been handling his dream things where they tell him that he's actually going to sleep? Has he been continuing to indulge in that?
No, he's been actively fighting it.
Okay.
He's not been forcing himself. He's not been allowing to. He's been pushing down the urges. So he hasn't turned into a cube in quite some time.
Right,
he does spend 8 hours a night.
Right. But him, like, laying down on the bed and supposedly going to dreamland, does he do that?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he's doing that every night. He's finding it the most fantastic
and
experience.
it most assuredly does happen every night that he does it.
Does he think that happens all of the time to normal people?
Yes. That's what Tempus thinks dreaming is. He loves it.
This is great. As for getting back to what Aurelia said after Teraptus snorts, he'll stand up, brush his wrinkled hands off on his breeches and say, "Well, my dear," looking down at the circle, "the process is relatively quick, at least normally. It takes handful of seconds. I've not been particularly uneasy doing it, but I hear that those unfamiliar with magic do experience awkward sensations." He casts his eyes partway over his shoulder at the group. "That being said, I seldom teleport this many people at once. It has required special preparations, and the process may take a little longer than a handful of seconds. That being said, traveling halfway across the Dragon Empire it will still be considerably quicker. So long as you all hold hands with me and I'll explain the preparations and have your eyes closed, you won't fall out of the teleportation effect. You don't want to fall out of the teleportation effect."
Tempus's eyes are closed.
"Not right now, Tempus."
Tempus's eyes are open.
Priestess Olia does give a suspicious glance like at the circle, like, "Oh fuck, this is gonna suck."
Mm-hmm.
All right. Astrid is charged with holding the backpack. Turns out that she is like the mount for Teraptus. In a manner of speaking. Astrid does it without complaint. And Teraptus will explain the notion. All of you are going to gather in the circle of diamond dust, and all of you have to be connected to him and with each other through hand contact. So if Teraptus stands here and Astrid's there, form a circle.
Oh.
How is this a circle?
Good circle, everybody.
There you go. I love how Geráck looks like moving over here.
I thought we were forming a circle.
Dwarven
Right?
geography.
Yes. Yes, dwarven geometry
Sure,
right there.
more geometry.
Yes. And the advice being that all of you must tightly grip the other person. I mean, you could grip them wherever, but arms, hands just don't work. I mean, hands are the most comfortable. And keep your eyes closed. Never open them.
Why?
No. Lord Teraptus says that by doing so, Aranas, you would invite disaster and ruination upon your mind as you struggle to comprehend the numerous pocket realities we are transitioning through in order to shorten our travel time between here and the Arcane College of Newport. You would not mentally survive the ordeal. It has been tried many times. There was an Archmage in the previous age who tried, thinking that she was better. She was not. Even I close my eyes.
Geráck looks questioningly at his gauntlets. Can I wear these while teleporting?
He frowns. Preferably you would take them off, Master Dwarf.
Geráck will do so and put them in his backpack if they fit.
Sure.
Fine.
Or just put them in the golem's backpack. I'm sure if it's there.
No, like she's not a backpack. She's just carrying Teraptus's backpack.
She is a backpack.
She is not a backpack. She is a wine cooler. No, she's like a mini bar.
I see.
Yes.
Well,
I
that
get drink
would be
from
neat.
teleporting. Excellent.
Yes. Teraptus says, again, this would be a much easier process. You wouldn't even have to have your eyes closed. You just have to be near me for this teleportation to work normally, but there's too many here to teleport otherwise. But for the special preparations I've made, you could fall out of the world. Don't do that. Keep your eyes closed.
We will.
Good. Don't let go of someone either. You might get lost, and I won't be able to find you.
Understood.
Good. Teraptus will begin invoking his archaic epic tier power for the 9th level spell Teleportation, which can normally teleport up to you and 4 of your nearby friends. But obviously there's more than 4 other people coming along on this trip, hence the necessary extra preparations required.
Yep.
All close your eyes, grab each other's hands, and of course there's going to be something that happens. All of you get special messages! We start with Sheep. I see you over there, Sheep.
And he quickly glances at the camera,
Yes, I can't.
giving a discontented look.
Yes.
Good or bad?
Sheep gets his message first. Let me find my I am for Sheep. Here's Sheep's I am. Next up is Goger's I am. Goger gets an I am. Merry Christmas, Goger.
Merry Christmas, Gryph.
Let me find you. Here we go. That's for Goger.
Ah.
Manaki, you get one too.
Alright.
I mean, you've already had plenty of reading material, but you can have some more, buddy. Because I like you. Here you go. Gryph, you're definitely not left out either.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think how many of them
gets
facial
some stuff.
expressions.
Gryph, here you go, buddy.
Oh,
And-
Jesus!
And Dark, you.
I get another wall of text.
You'll see. Now, you can react as you'd like, whenever you'd finish, or you can wait around to see what other people might do. For those watching at home, I'll slowly, scroll over things, so that, maybe they can read the stuff. Actually, I took a quick look so I could see Sheep's face, and I fucking love it. Alright.
Jasmine gives a quizzical, and almost slightly worried look at everyone else.
So you're opening your eyes then?
Yes, Jasmine winds up opening her eyes. And
Yes.
just looking around to the others with a quizzical look.
At the end of the process, you will all hear Superior Teraptus telling you, "Open your eyes. We're here."
Are all of you okay? You look a little bit worse for wear. They'll not read all their content.
Yes, Dark. That's what they're doing. Be respectful.
I was muted, sorry. Aurelia will slowly glance towards Jasmine, say, if at any point during my life, during our travels, I ever admit that I think arcane magic benefits the world as a whole, I am lying and probably an intellect devourer.
Is that bad?
I haven't decided yet. I mean, we do seem to have arrived somewhere, so the purpose of the ritual has succeeded. However, the side effects do continue to be rather... She trails off.
Just giving me a quizzical look. Seemingly completely unaware of what you're talking about.
Do not pay any mind to my ramblings, but... She shrugs.
Slowly open his eyes and look at his allies and say, I suppose we made it here in all good pieces.
Geráck stands up, blinks a bit, stands on one leg, tries to touch his nose with both his hands.
Are you okay, Geráck?
That was quite unpleasant.
Unpleasant?
Very.
Tempus.
Not what I was expecting.
Tempus will open his eyes and sniff about a dozen times. Look around. Did anyone say where Leon was?
No.
I believe we know where he is, however, not here or anywhere near here.
Tempus scratches his face and falls into silence.
What does Aurelia look like?
Aurelia finally opens her eyes. She looks incredibly angry at Superior Teraptus, while Teraptus is like brushing off his hands and looking around. And indeed, you have caught a few surprised eyes around here from the mostly closed and skeleton crew of the Arcane College. You're in the main hall of the building where Aranas first met this group. Yes, the Aurelia is glaring at Teraptus, who seemingly pays no mind. Oh, there we are. Took a little bit longer. He cracks his neck. Hate those affairs, but it was absolutely necessary. Saved us quite a bit of travel time. At Newport, it'll be easier for us to get to the Wildwood like this. The crew is panicking, and Teraptus immediately starts barking out orders. They all, like, scurry away. I understand that can be an unstable process. Most of you have likely never teleported before in your lives, so sit down and have a few minutes. I'll get us some horses. Though we won't be riding that fast, courtesy of the fact that he jerks a thumb at Astrid. She doesn't really get a horse. We do need to make some semblance of haste. The Superior Teraptus will, like, stomp away, as will Astrid following after him.
Before Teraptus gets to leave, Aurelia would basically try to get his attention for just a moment, like clearing her throat or something.
And Teraptus will, like, well, I mean, he, like, wheels his head back as he's still walking away. Yes?
Although I suspect I know the answer to my question, I suspect that seeing coherent things during the teleportation are not meant to actually be a thing, correct?
Seraptus stops long enough to shrug and says, "That's what the non-arcanes say when they get teleported. I wouldn't know. Every time I've teleported, I've always been arcane."
Isn't that good for you?
Severe Seraptus says, "Yes, it is," as he walks out of sight. Coins jangling in his purse as he goes to buy you all horses.
Regardless of what you saw, we must simply keep faith.
Yes, well, I do need a moment to myself. And Geráck will wander off.
Let's look at the remaining people and say, and we must remember that we're here for diplomatic reasons. We may have been set to be bodyguards, but truly, I believe we are honor guards more so. We are not here to escalate the situation in any way, or to fight anyone. If we were to be attacked, it would be more beneficial to simply defeat our enemies without killing them. Hopefully we can avoid such an attack or confrontation altogether. We might endure whatever slights they put our way. For, well, in many respects they are right, and they have been mistreated for many years. Many of them likely resent the Imperial administration and the Archmage for being contained in a place that is much smaller than their power would perhaps allow them.
And then looks to you and nods, gesturing a now gloved hand as she puts several of her gloves back on to herself. Well, most certainly we myself does not hold any discontent towards them, despite what my superiors might. Let's end this as easily as we can, without conflict. Hopefully Superior Traptus is in such a as good as his confidence allows.
Yes, I shall hope, although I do not know him, that he will be in a diplomatic mood and be willing to give concessions that may, on first glance, seem larger than expected. I could expect the Druids to, for example, demand that no more wards be set up in the lands surrounding the Midland Sea, and perhaps that instead Druids will help tend to the small communities that will be allowed to remain.
Whatever the situation, it will be one that will not necessarily be welcomed by all, but it must be done if we would like peace.
Indeed. Things are changing, and the imbalance that has existed must be removed in order for things to be stable once more. The Druids will likely have a much larger role in the coming age.
Perhaps. Though that is something which is too far away to say for sure.
He gives you that sort of melancholic, oh, you're so young look.
Jasmine completely does not notice. Then he smiles and returns slightly.
Sure. He looks very sort of bright-eyed after coming out of this teleportation. Sort of almost full of purpose in a way.
Jasmine almost seems like nothing really happened too much. Brief moment where she spent a second like sniffing the air slightly, but other than that, she, her full composure, just waiting for everyone else to regain theirs. Checking over her equipment, her arrows, her swords, her bow.
How's Geráck doing, Goger?
Well, he is sitting somewhere far off in a corner, just thinking to himself.
Okay.
Not really saying anything.
Okay.
How long would Geráck be gone?
Like 20 minutes.
Yeah, if it takes more than just a couple of minutes, Aurelia would probably just wander up to check on him.
Alright.
Like 3, 4, 5 minutes later.
Okay.
Just kind of stand where he's sitting. Looking at you with a kind of a cocked head, questioning expression.
Geráck's face is ruddy. It has like a rosy complexion to it.
Oh my, maybe I shouldn't ask.
I didn't think it would be quite that real, if you get my meaning.
I expect that none of us could have guessed, apart from perhaps Superior Teraptus, who conveniently left out that little detail.
Yes. Maybe he shouldn't have. I was quite close to opening my eyes.
Aurelia shrugs. You didn't, and now you're here. And whatever you saw, I do not know how much I would pay attention to it.
Perhaps not. It wasn't real anyway, but it just wasn't what I was expecting, and I didn't really like it at all.
Seeing things that we do not like is a common occurrence. I think the main problem was that in these visions and such, you're never quite able to do anything about them.
No.
If you're not in the danger of running out of the city and hiding in a corner, then I shall leave you to your thoughts.
No. Should maybe get back to the others, actually.
She shrugs, moves back.
We do have a job to do after all.
How's Teraptus doing? Not Teraptus, god damn it. Tempus doing, Gryph? How is Teraptus doing? He's buying horses right now. How is Tempus, Gryph?
Tempus is deep in thought. And every so often you'll ask questions, just... Sorry, my throat's just seized up. Give me a second.
Sure. He was overwhelmed by what he saw.
So much so that my throat is full of gunk. Right? I wasn't swallowing or eating something, apparently just not talking for a while caused my throat to just go, nope! You wouldn't believe I spent my entire day talking as well. Right. Tempus has been quite deep in thought since teleportation. Apart from his question at the start of whereabouts is Leon, he's been quite quiet. He will ask every now and then just where people are located around, just to get an idea of things. He'll ask roughly what's happened to Foghaven in the last year, what's happened, whereabout Dwarf is maybe going to be about in the world, whereabout Leon is located, just to learn and figure things out. Apart from that, he's kind of avoiding a lot of questions and looking quite deep in thought. Not sharing what he experienced, not volunteering it anyway.
Well, Foghaven's pretty poor off. Let's see here. Word from Lord Inator, back when Tempus was a cube, that Foghaven no longer had Ursilia Melkor in it. The town
by the border has sort of fallen by the wayside, like many other towns within the Newport region, due to the overall lack of food. But Arstelia Melkor left some time ago, and the Senate, the little Senate, took control over the town again to guide it. Here, who knows? He took off flying after making a resolution with the party before Tempus unrolled. And Leon is, last he was seen, all the way off just north of the Fangs, which is on the other side of the Dragon Empire across the Midland Sea. Standing in the domain of Prince Zarza, who is a Lich Prince, recently raised to Lich Prince. Becoming a Lich Prince requires the direct approval of the Lich King himself. It is an honor, for sure.
Oh dear.
Does Tempus seem worried?
Quite.
Well, then Aranas will ask him what is wrong and what is bothering him. He does not know Tempus well, and perhaps, this will be a bonding moment, he thinks.
Tempest just takes a deep breath and just look at Aranas. What happened to you in the teleportation then?
Says, I was reassured of my purpose here. I was tempted, resisted the temptation, and was granted the reward of absolute purpose. He sort of touches his holy symbol slightly.
I was promised the chance to save two of my friends.
A chance I believe you should take. Uniting with one's allies is a great power.
Tempest gives a... He can't help but just shortly give a derisive snort. Friends is a generous term to say to them now.
It says the good priestess was dead, and yet the gods allowed her to return. As far as I understand, the physical vessels of your allies, or former allies, are not even so far gone. To think that they were beyond redemption would be to give up hope. And I do not see why one who would have given up all hope would continue to fight the struggle that we are currently fighting.
Tell me of the Sword of Ruin.
As I do not know as much as perhaps your allies do, but I did see it as it worked. The Sword of Ruin would, when you have someone restrained and at your mercy, and you decide to kill them with the blade, destroy or let crumble whatever you have authority over, whatever domain, empire, house you might own, will be cursed and crumble. Why would you ask about the sword specifically?
Because to redeem people, I need it.
Sort of quirks an eyebrow and says, how so? I do not see how such a sword could redeem anything.
By destroying it.
And how would that be possible? I believe that no one, since the First Age, has, been able to do so, even if they dare try.
He takes a very deep breath. Because I'd be taking a very big chance.
Would that chance, would the reward be worth the risk? Would saving your friends be worth whatever risk that this chance might carry?
Tempus pauses for. This is a good couple of minutes of utter silence from Tempus as he rubs his face, his hand against his face.
Aranas gives him time.
To me, yes. I see it as giving, at the worst of the worst, giving one foe over another foe the artifact. So we eliminate one threat to give it to another. That's the worst I can foresee of happening. Whereas the best is it all comes true. Or then again, I could be played for a fool. It's not going to be the first time. I'm not. And Tempest raises both of his hands and wiggles them in the air, not magically skilled. I don't know what powers are involved to destroy an artifact. You could tell me it's an age of the beginning. No one from the first age can destroy an artifact, or you need to send it through Mount Vesuvius and it can melt.
Aurelia says, it's not an artifact, the Sword of Ruin. It could be destroyed. Even artifacts could be destroyed, but it is definitely no artifact. It was also not the only of its kind. It's just the only one that the Dragon Empire knows of. Others have been destroyed. The Orc Lord, once upon a time, my understanding, had many.
So it's not too much of a leap of imagination that someone could destroy it then using magic. And each time Tempest says magic, he doesn't do it in a sort of a degrading way. He just sort of raises his hands like a non-magical person would and wiggle his fingers.
If it is not magic, or if it is not of such power, and if it indeed was an item that had multiples of them created, then I see no reason why it couldn't be destroyed.
You might not even need magic. Magic is just a way to remove the power inherent in such a device without any repercussions. Just smashing it against your knee, if you were so powerful as to be able to break a sword, a great sword like that, over your knee, would carry severe ramifications, on more than a physical level. A magical ritual helps to properly dispel and safely ease away the great energy within an item such as that.
Tempest takes a deep breath. And what if I told you the person that wanted the artifact to destroy it was Leon?
She shrugs because she doesn't really know a Leon.
Tempest said it quite out loud. It wasn't,
Right.
to hide it. The fact that there's a third person in the conversation. Tempest just sort of waits up. He knows. Hopefully, Geráck and Jasmine is actually close by to hear it.
Was this Leon the one that I know, or the one that you know?
Well, this is the first time I've met you, I'm going to go with the one that I know.
Says, then, as far as your allies have told me, he seemed like a person who could be trusted.